you miss, can run through you. I think Virginia Tech's going to sneak around and win this ball game tonight.
You got many top 10 upsets.
I think at least 2, probably 3, though.
There's a difference now. You got three. You got maybe one here?
Well, there's got to be one here. They're both in the top 10.
Oh, God.
That's not an upset, though.
Sneaky. This Virginia Tech team, I think, Justin Fuente is a great coach. We all know that, coming over from Memphis, but trying to fill the shoes of Frank Beamer. He was trying to do it his way, and it's taken some time. And at first, I just didn't know if it was the right fit, if he fit into Blacksburg. And now we're starting to see the team really take on his personality once he's gotten the pieces in and the players that understand him. But with North Carolina, does Sam Howell, he reminds me a lot of what Trevor went through last year. All the hype after his big freshman year comes in this year and it's pressing a bit, trying to live up to what he did a year ago. Throwing and forcing the issue. Already 3 picks. He threw 7 all of last year. So to me, I think Virginia Tech, I'm with David. Since we're all going to like Virginia Tech, we should get Carolina going in the right direction. But I think Virginia Tech's going to win this game.
Yeah, I think Virginia Tech will be a different monster on offense. I like Khalil. He's a beast. But then they get Hendon Hooker back, the quarterback. Burmeister played well, but he's not Hooker. Hooker brings a different element to that offense. Defensively, they have a great defense, too. I mean, they're like number 2 in the nation in sacks, 13 sacks. I like North Carolina to compete. Sam Howell's going to have to play a great game. He got to get off the, at some point, he got to be great, not good. Because this guy was a Heisman candidate coming to the season. But I do like Virginia Tech to win a close one.
Bears got a quick number here.
You'll all like Virginia Tech. Well, a lot of sharp, respected players like Virginia Tech as well. Like both Chris Andrews at South Point and John Murray at Westgate yesterday, both a lot of respected play, a lot of sharp play on Virginia Tech. That number fell from 5.5 yesterday to 3. So there's a lot of money coming in.
He's not talking about players on the field, guys.
Not players on the field are not like someone like you walking up to the sports book, like people who know what they're doing.
Exactly.
So we'll see if the money's right.
If Fuente hasn't lost in North Carolina, he's 4-0. What do you like? You got an ACC game there on the board, too.
I like BC. Really? Our guy Djokovic coming in, they played well last week, and they already pulled an upset against Duke. They hung around last week against Carolina. That seems like a big number for Pitt to be laying on the road. So I think we're going to go with all Hafley's boys again at home.
I like Narduzzi. I got to go with Narduzzi.
Narduzzi.
I like Narduzzi in there.
It starts a tough stretch for Pittsburgh. And 5 of their next 7 games on the road, they play the behemoths, the big boys in the ACC. At Mr. Jefferson's University on the grounds. Boy, Virginia got a lot of respect from the Clemson players post-game. They take on NC State at noon.
NC State, new QB. Leary comes in, starts spinning bean, 360 yards against a great Pitt D, 4 touchdowns. Can he keep it going on the other side of the ball? These receivers made plays, by the way, for him all. Other side of the ball, Drake Thomas and company going to have to stop Brennan Armstrong. By the way, he looked really good running the football and throwing. I think he's the difference, his ability to run the football. I think Virginia wins a close game against NC State.
And we just talked about how Pitt and BC are playing. BC has been a comfortable underdog so far this year. They're an underdog again, as Bear just talked about. Pitt's been great defensively till late in the game last week against NC State. Gave up a couple touchdowns late, and now you have Jeff Hafley. His team's starting to believe, really. And I think his defense, he's known as a defensive coach, even though the quarterback's getting a lot of attention. The defense, I think, will be key today. I think BC, Bear, I'm with you, sneaking around there.
That game's on the ACC network, and in front of about 15,500 Florida State and Notre Dame. 27 years ago, College Game Day on the road for the first time for a Florida State-Notre Dame matchup. 1993, 1 versus 2. What a clash of titans.
Gosh.
The great Charlie Ward trying to save the Seminoles. 4th down, and Sean Wooden's there to bat it away. You guys remember, there likely would have been a rematch in the Fiesta Bowl had Boston College not beaten Notre Dame the next week.
Last-second field goal.
It's a lot different today. Ian Book has been using the tight ends or running back. The only completions longer than 25 yards have gone to running backs or tight ends. Irish do get some reinforcements at wide receiver today. And for Florida State, Charlie Ward, Derek Brooks ain't walking through that door. Notre Dame has been through a lot this year. Joined the ACC in light of the pandemic. They started 2-0 under Brian Kelly. They had to pause football activities. had 18 players test positive, but back in practice now after the 3-week break, getting ready to go, and pleased to be joined now by the head coach of the Fighting Irish, Brian Kelly, as they get set to take on Florida State today. Brian, how would you describe the impact of all of this time off on your team as you get ready for the game against the Noles?
Well, certainly you don't want to start the season with 2 games and then take a pause for 2 weeks. It's not the ideal situation, but the alternative wasn't very good. We had a spike in positivity. We had to re-examine all of our procedures and protocols. Our players had to rededicate themselves to making sure that they were doing all the little things the right way. And as I said, the alternative wasn't good. In other words, we wouldn't have been able to put together a representative group on the field. So we've been able to put ourselves back into a great position, and we're excited about getting back out on the field today.
How many guys will you be missing tonight, Brian?
Just 2.
So the roster is pretty much intact. People have watched Florida State. Your players have. You have. Look, your guys know that FSU hasn't played well. How have they reacted to what's expected of them and what kind of challenge they'll face tonight?
Yeah, they watch film. I mean, they probably have 7 or 8 first-day draft picks. They have talent. But, look, they're building their culture. So they understand that. It's really about us living up to our standards. We've built our standards here at Notre Dame. We've won 20 consecutive games at home. We continue to focus on our process and what we do here at Notre Dame, and that's really the most important thing. Florida State has got talent, and we respect every opponent we play, but this is really about us. We haven't played in a couple of weeks, and we need to get off to a good start, and like I said, live up to our standards.
Well, Brian, we appreciate you spending some time with us this morning. Wish you luck against the Seminoles coming up tonight.
All right, thanks, Reese. Appreciate you having me on.
There is Brian Kelly. What a great record since 2017 against ACC opponents. Hey, you know, the one thing, too, I should mention in light of all the talk about the pandemic, Florida State legendary coach Bobby Bowden had tested positive for coronavirus. A report yesterday through his wife, Ann, that he's doing well. So we certainly send out our best to Coach Bowden. Numbers there for a reason. Notre Dame big favorites tonight. I mean,
yeah,
not really the challenge you would anticipate with the name brand.
Quick, to me, a couple quick things. Number one, Ian Book, being a veteran, really helps them navigate being off for 3 weeks just because you have a guy that's kind of been there and done that. I would be shocked at all to see them find their offensive rhythm. And Kyron Williams, by the way, is a great back, great young back. Real quick on Florida State, Des. Florida State, to me, they get blown out by Miami, 52-10. They become a punchline in college football around the country. The following week, they're down 14-0 to Jacksonville State, 21-7 to Jacksonville State. Again, a punchline. Yeah. They found a quarterback, and they were able to – I don't care if it's Jacksonville State. Right. This isn't about wins in 2020 for Mike Norvell. It's about steering the Titanic and changing the culture. Yeah. That, to me, was a huge step, even though it was Jacksonville State. I'm kind of fired up just to see them. They still have talent. To me, it's more about the mindset for Florida State. I want to see how they show up today in South Bend.
Look at where we are now in 2020. We're talking about Florida State against Notre Dame, and that game being just a huge step in the right direction for Florida State. That's how far they've fallen, you know. I like what Coach Kelly said about Notre Dame, though. It's about them. It's about them playing to the standard. Don't worry about what you see on film. When you look at the Seminoles, we have to go out there and knock off the rust from being off for 3 weeks and play our type of football, David.
Find your chemistry. That's all. That's all Notre Dame needs. They need to find the offensive. And Ian Book's great, but the weapons around him, he's got to develop those guys throughout the season. That's what will be. Today's a good tune-up for that. Yeah,
the quarterback you mentioned for Florida State's Jordan Travis, their third starting quarterback already. Big favorites for the Irish today. Irish coming back. Temple's getting to play today too. They haven't played all year. They get to play Navy.
Get the option out the gate.
Their season. Notre Dame, maybe not Temple, certainly not Navy, but